And welcome to another episode of the Philly BroCast. I am your host, Ryan.
And I'm Ryan. What's up, bro?
What's going on, bro? How are you tonight?
Doing very well. How about yourself?
Can't complain. It's Friday. Week's over. We got Sixers playoff basketball on Sunday. What's not to love?
I don't know. It's exciting. I'm pumped. Seems like everybody's healthy, ready to go. I know we'll get into any possible injuries or injury updates or anything like that, but pretty excited.
So it appears that we are going to be facing the Washington Wizards. We all know about Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, but let's be honest, they don't really have that much after those two guys. So, um, I think it's one of those situations of trying to contain both of them, limiting them as much as possible. But in all, when it's said and done, this should hopefully be a pretty relatively easy series, considering the Sixers are a much better complete team.
Yeah, I agree. One of the big things is for this team and for the expectations, you really, almost sweep or just go forward in a fashion of being a champion. And we really need to see that as Sixers fans, as basketball fans. You just really need to understand that this team is as complete, is as dominant as hoped, as advertised, and as we got to see during a lot of the season. So this first series is huge. I expect a loss, but anything more than a loss is a little concerning.
Yeah, I kind of when I saw that, they were getting the Wizards, I said 4-1. I think one loss is acceptable, nothing more than that. I think if two, then maybe you start get a little concerned. But obviously, if they take it to seven, it doesn't bode very well. I think there's a stat out there that Doc Rivers, of course, is the coach, but the most games played was 26 that led or that ended in a championship, and there's maybe one team that had 24, and the rest were well below that. So, kind of taking care of your first and second round opponents are pretty key to not only rest, but just kind of going throughout this long process of playoffs to get to the finals and obviously win in the end. So.
Yeah, so you were saying that the team that did it was the Boston Celtics?
Yes, under Doc, yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's like you said, it's important for rest. It's important for preparation. It's just one of those things that you can't value home court advantage or a sweep more or really at all because simply you just have that advantage. And I mean, it's priceless. It's something
Yeah.
that we were hoping for all year, getting that number one seed, locking it in. And once we got it, it was that breath of release or breath of fresh air, kind of a release of any angst that
Right.
Sixers fans had because of how they were going. What's up, Eric?
What's up, bro? What's going on, buddy? How are you? I hope California, is that where you're currently at? I hope California is treating you well. If you're not there yet, you're probably maybe in Denver, I want to say. So yeah, my co-host for the Football Smack Talk show is driving across the country with some of his cousins. Long story short, they have a business and they were raffling off a car, and apparently the person who won the car was all the way in California. So I guess they had to go all the way to Cali. But good luck, brother. Hopefully you make it back safe, obviously, and we'll see what happens on Football Smack Talk show on Monday. Ryan, maybe calling on you, buddy.
Yeah, safe travels, Derek. I mean, maybe he can check out the place we might want to stay if he's in Denver.
There
At
you go.
least scope out the area. Yeah.
Yeah, for the good old Eagles trip. But yeah. So obviously Washington has kind of been a little bit of a hot team coming into the playoffs with the new play-in series. It's kind of weird, and I personally I don't like it. I don't know why you needed to change it up. I think it was doing just fine the playoffs without it. Um, you have your top 8 and you go from there. I'm not sure why you needed to kind of have these playing games, but I'm sure money is driving that, and God forbid you don't have a couple extra games to kind of throw in there. So just like NFL adding another game, it's all money driven. But so yeah, so it looks like we'll get the winner. Once if we defeat the Wizards, we'll get the winner of the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks, which could end up being a pretty decent series. But what are your thoughts on? I think everybody's mostly concerned about Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Who do you want to come into the Eastern Conference Finals should the Sixers make it that far?
I would rather see Milwaukee personally. I think we did pretty well against them this season. I know we've had troubles with them in the past, but I think that they aren't as dangerous, I guess, as Brooklyn. And that's one of my concerns. Just to what you were saying, I couldn't agree more that the play-in is a money grab. I didn't really understand why they would do something like that. And also, it's one of those things where it actually didn't really help anything except for the marketing, the views, and everything like that. Because literally, the 1 through 8 ended up being the 1 through 8. Like the play-ins didn't make any difference, at least for the Eastern Conference. Yeah, I didn't really agree with it. I don't like it, but that's, again, an opinion. So basically, what I'm hoping for is that, either the Knicks or Hawks, it really doesn't matter to me.
Nope.
I think we can beat either team. And then, I would hope that the Bucks would beat the Nets in their next round. So
yeah, see, I'm okay with Atlanta or New York. I think the Sixers match up well against both of them, and I think that again shouldn't be a long series. Obviously, the Eastern Conference Finals, should it be Sixers and either Milwaukee or Brooklyn, I just hope the two of them battle it out in the semis, and it goes 7 games, and every game goes into triple overtime, and they're exhausted, and they just come tired and beat up, and I'm not necessarily scared of either team, but obviously I have my concerns. I think the Sixers could easily get beat by either one of them, but I also think the Sixers could easily beat both of them. Having that home court advantage, as you said, is really, really huge. They were amazing at home. And they were on the road. So it would go to show you that having this home court advantage will play a part in the Sixers moving forward.
Yeah. That's one of the hopes and keys, is that the other teams, whoever we end up playing, are just exhausted by the time they get to us. We have home court. We have everything set up for us to just succeed. So if anybody who's watching can just let us know if there's a lag, or if you're not seeing anything or hearing anything properly, that'd be great. I'm trying to look at my phone
We're
right
having
now.
some,
I'm not really
we're having some
seeing
crazy
anything.
troubles on our end. So, Chris,
Yeah, I'm not really
appreciate it,
seeing
buddy. How are you,
anything
bud?
personally. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything really on Facebook. I'm just gonna do this real quick to see how it looks. But it's one of those things that it's hopeful that we go into this and are healthy. That's the key. Everybody healthy,
Yeah,
everybody ready to play, and that's the biggest part.
yeah, 100%.
Looking good though.
Chris, thanks for checking in. Chris says playing gave more views since the NBA playoffs were historically down in 2020. Got to make up that money. Yeah, I mean that obviously makes sense. I mean, 2020 was a weird year, the bubble season. Um, so yeah, it goes to show you, a lot of leagues, in fact, all of them were hit. That's certainly a motivator for these leagues to come up with new ideas to try and maybe make up that revenue. Although most of them make pretty good money as it is, so God forbid. But Chris, with another one here. Imagine, if you will, for 1 second, lights go out, Undertaker music come on, and Sam Henke is ready to ring the bell. No, see, you got to save Hinkie for the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to save Hinkie for the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't want to waste that electricity for Sam Hinkie ringing that bell. That leads into a really good.
Well, I would.
God.
Go ahead.
It's tough. Of who the bell ringers should be. It's a nice little tradition they have for home games now. A lot of people have thrown names and ideas out there. Hinkie being one of them. Brett Brown being one of them. Obviously the normal the Iversons of the world, the Barkleys. You're saying no to Brett Brown. I could not agree more. I don't want that juju on the team.
We've moved on.
Right. Yeah. Now, Hinkie, on the other hand, I think would be insane. Hinkie would garnish just an insane fever at the Wells Fargo Center, and especially if you hold that off until like Eastern Conference Finals, or even again if we make it to the finals, it would be electric. Electric. Philly loves Hinkie.
I would say finals, and I would say that yeah, I agree, Chris. No. I would say that I'll throw in some musicians. You got to have like Meek Mill. You got to have Boyz II Men. Maybe if you can get Will Smith.
See, that doesn't excite me.
Why not? I don't understand why it wouldn't.
Well, there are better options. You're going to need probably 12 to 15 people ringing the bell potentially, and you're going to waste one of those spots
Hopefully
for Will Smith. What has Will Smith done in like the last 20 years? Please.
Are you kidding me?
Erroneous on all accounts.
Wow, dude. Wow. I hope somebody from West Philadelphia, born and raised,
I'm sorry.
comes and lays you out on the court.
I'm not saying he's terrible, but I don't think he makes the cut. Chris has a good Lakers Sixers finals game 7 here. Vanessa Bryant ringing the bell. That actually would be pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be. And I actually thought about that because rest in peace, Kobe. But if he was still alive, he would definitely be asked to come. Yeah. But that's a little different. I don't know how that works for a basketball player who
from Philly
spent his whole career
in the Lakers.
So
right.
I mean, if the Eagles had a ring the bell situation or ceremony, I think he would do that. See, but I feel like his Lakers would blow him up if he actually came and
Right.
rang the bell
Now,
for the
if
Sixers.
it wasn't Lakers, I'm good with it. I think he gets the pass. But I think somebody like a Bryce Harper would be awesome. Everybody loves Harper. I'm sure somebody like a Jason Kelsey would be a nice one if I'm going with like current players here. No one from the Flyers should even come close to ringing the bell.
Drew can.
Now, Drew does nothing. He wouldn't get that fever going of the crowd. They'd just be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, because we're such a "what have you done lately" city.
Right.
Yes, I agree.
Right. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He deserves it more than Will frickin' Smith.
Dude, why do you keep coming at Will Smith like that? He's an amazing actor. He's obviously a Philadelphia icon. I mean, come on.
I would rather see somebody like Sylvester Stallone ring the bell before Will Smith.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Rocky, bro. Rocky's more beloved.
Then Will Smith? You need to check the temp of the Philly fans. I guarantee you that Will Smith
should not be in the top 12 of Philadelphia icons to ring a bell. Now, Chris, I'll bring it up. Chris had one on here that I will absolutely agree with, and that's Nicky Foles. Nicky six-shooter. That place would go nuts if Nick Foles came in and rang the bell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nuts. So I have him on the list. I would have AI, obviously. I'd have Barkley. I'd have Sam Hinkie. Bailey Cunningham. I'd put him up there.
You know what's funny? When I was in Disney, I was wearing a North Carolina. Thank you, Chris. We agree a lot.
I'm just saying, I'd rather have him over Will Smith, is what I was saying, really.
So I'm in line for Rock and Roller Coaster in Disney, and I'm wearing a number 32 North Carolina jersey.
Okay.
Who wore number 32 in North Carolina that became a Sixer? You just said his name.
I just said his name.
You literally just said his name.
No, I didn't.
Billy Cunningham.
Billy Cunningham? He wore number 32?
The 76ers wore 32 when he played for North Carolina?
I was unaware of that. Well, that's good knowledge out of you. I was thinking like Antoine Jameson or some shit.
Back for you. So, I mean, it was like Rashad McCants, Billy Cunningham, a couple other guys, but mainly it was Billy. And I'm walking through the line, and somebody goes, and this person's wearing a Kobe jersey, and they say, "Go Duke," to me, and I'm like, what? So I say to them, "Go Sixers," and I didn't even want to get into it, but they were like, "That doesn't make any sense." And it was like one of those where we're crossing lines like every 40 feet. And afterwards, I didn't want to get into it and just be like, "Listen, dude, not only do you not know who Cunningham is and the relation to the Sixers, but how I can come at you for wearing a Lakers jersey with Kobe Bryant on it, not knowing that he went to Lower Merion High School." Like, that's the type of stuff that I try and stick away from. But it's just funny that you brought up Cunningham just because I was wearing that and said "Go Sixers," and the guy had no idea what I was talking about.
Some people do need to be educated, Ryan. So that was a teachable moment that you should have taken advantage of. Here we go. What has Will Smith done? He's a minority owner of the Sixers. Get out of here. Get out of here. Who cares? I'll throw a dollar in. I'll be a minority owner.
We're not only going to do Fresh Prince, his early and awesome rapping career. We'll
Rapping
do
is a strong word.
all the incredible movies that he's been in throughout our entire lives.
Okay, he's been in some good
And
movies.
if you want to say lately, I mean, he's just essentially been in a remake of one of the craziest, biggest movies of Disney in Aladdin. That remake was huge. It wasn't great, but it was huge. And then, and he was in the
Chris,
Hancock.
you just want to
I'm talking about.
Come on in. I feel like we're just talking to Chris here. Let's bring Chris on in.
If you want to talk about great movies like Pursuit of Happiness, talking about
I never saw Pursuit of Happiness.
I'm pretty sure he was up for an Oscar for that.
Oh, I'm sure he was, but those movies don't do anything for me.
Well, that's not a relevant point towards him being a Philadelphia icon.
I'm not saying he's not an icon, and I'm not saying I hate Will Smith. I'm saying there are easily 12 more people, the more deserving, and that would garner a much bigger crowd noise than Will Smith. Sorry.
All right,
if this was 20 years ago, you're absolutely right.
All right, so for everybody watching and listening, I would love to hear Reis do the 12 better people right now, and then we'll get into defensive matchups and some cool things about the Sixers. But I want to hear it right now. Who's your 12 better
really
people that
we do the cup, huh?
Right now? Because you have no problem saying Will Smith off the cuff when you haven't said anything else besides Allen Iverson or Jason Kelce.
Man. Okay. Jeez. Who?
That's what I'm saying. You could do Bradley Cooper. You could do Boyz II Men. You could do Meek Mill.
Bradley Cooper would be better than Will Smith. Kevin Hart would be better than Will Smith.
What is your hate with Will Smith? Did he cut in front of you or did he steal your girl at a club? What happened?
You know what? I didn't like how he never said anything to Uncle Phil when they always threw Jazzy Jeff out the house. You could have just asked him to leave. You didn't have to throw him out the house. Just saying.
Well, that's how Uncle Phil did.
Iverson, Barkley, Hinkie.
Why are you throwing in Charles Barkley?
I'm
sorry, but he is not as beloved in Philadelphia as you may imagine.
Better than Will Smith?
Okay.
So that's 4.
I mean, if you want to throw in Bryce, Jason Kelce, you're not going to get Nick Foles. I mean,
But Nick Foles, it doesn't matter who you're getting. Nick Foles has to be on that list.
He would be, but Jason Kelce would raise just as much of a crowd reaction as Nick Foles, guaranteed.
No. Nick Foles can literally walk around Philadelphia butt naked, and absolutely
people would love that.
Happen. And people would shower him with gifts and beers, and nothing would be wrong. Nothing would be wrong.
I mean,
but yeah,
obviously, you and many women would love to see that happen.
Hey, wait a minute.
But seriously, you have to think that Jason Kelce was just as much a huge part of that.
I agree.
Super Bowl, the everything. If Nick Foles ran against Jason Kelce for mayor of Philadelphia, who do you think would win?
Still Nick Foles. It'd be close, though. It'd be close.
Wow. I disagree.
Sorry.
Jason Kelce's still on the...
I understand that. But Nick Foles will always go down as for a lot of people as the person who brought us a Super Bowl, regardless of whatever may be the truth or not. Pat Burrell. Yeah, you'd have to stop drinking long enough to get there. No, I think Kelsey and Foles. I think Kevin Hart would be great. Bradley Cooper would be great. Um, Questlove, as much as I'm a big fan of the Roots, I don't think he would be better than Will Smith. Eve, I don't think anybody remembers Eve. Uh, so no. You throw in Iverson, you throw in Hinkie, you throw in Cunningham. That's 7 right there. You throw in Hapa. You throw in hell. You could even throw in JT. People love JT.
JT's huge.
Schmidt, he would never do it, but Schmidt, people love Schmidt in this town. Chris had mentioned Rollins or Howard. I think Chase would probably be the guy out of those trio that I'd say would be the bigger crowd noise. Yeah, I don't know. What I got, like 11 or 12?
Yeah, you're right around there. I would agree that anybody from that 2008 championship for the Phillies coming out would be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you got Brad Lidd to come out and ring the bell, people would freak.
Chooch.
Chooch
and Lidd.
Okay. I mean, that's a good connection. I get it. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you kind of matched it up a little bit.
All right. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Is all I'm saying. Just saying. All right. Moving on from the bell ringers.
Cool. Let's get down to some business here, because I've been very curious on the defensive side of our scheme, of our team itself. We are second overall in the league, behind the Lakers on defensive efficiency. Excuse me, and no 2. Check your stats.
Maybe it's overall defense. Then
yeah, overall defense is 2 or second, and we have just studs across the line. I mean, there has never been a team that has had their 5 starters all be within the top 10 in defensive stats. So you got, Seth, Danny Green, Joel, Ben Simmons, and why am I drawing a blank? I knew I was going to. Thank you. So each one of them are within the top 10 in their position in defensive stats. Who is going to guard Bradley Beal, and who is going to guard Russell Westbrook?
So not only that, but you also have 3 players that could have honestly been. Now Ben Simmons was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year, but you also, like, if they stretched it out to 5 people, Matisse, Joel could have been in there. I mean, those 3 right there defensively are amazing. So I think it's imperative that you get Ben on Beal and you neutralize Beal. Russell Westbrook's going to be Russell Westbrook. He's going to do his thing. You hope that you can throw in Thibault there for some minutes, defensive minutes, because outside of those 2, they really don't have a lot of offense. So if you have Ben on Beal the entire game, and then you throw in Thibault for half the game onto Westbrook to try and slow him down slightly, I think that's enough of a recipe to shut down this Washington offense. They're not that good. Outside of those 2 guys, they are not good at all. So that should be your focus. And I think somebody like Shake Milton in practice. Honestly, what I would do is I would take Shake Milton to be the Russell Westbrook and say, all right, we're gonna plan for Russell Westbrook. You're gonna be Russell. You don't have to dribble. Just hold the ball and run around. To get them, because Russell Westbrook can just go anywhere on the court. He's just that good. And have him literally hold the ball and just run around to simulate how good of an offensive player he is. So I think if they do that and they focus on those two, that's all we need. That's all we need.
Yeah,
Sixers
I mean, it's definitely. I hope so. I'll say Sixers in 5, but one of the big things that I'm focusing on is Bradley Beal, and the reason being is because of him averaging almost 32 points a game. I mean, he's at like 31 and a half if you want to be like exact, but that is a staggering number. Like, not many people average 32 points a game, and that's impressive. And that's a huge defensive ask, not task, but ask for anyone.
I agree. I agree.
So someone like Ben, who is young and up to the challenge, or at least should be, is somebody that I think should be tasked for that. And then Matisse, who obviously is not a starter, will be able to come in, either relieve Ben or be on the floor with Ben and help out with Russell. I just believe that Ben's stature, his length, everything matches up so well with Bradley Beal that it's going to be.
That's why I didn't say to have him on Westbrook, because I think it would. Not that I don't think that he couldn't neutralize Westbrook to a degree. I just think that, sometimes Westbrook, goes off offensively and he'll score, 40 points and get a triple-double. Other times he's scoring 10 points and getting a triple-double. I think
no matter what.
I know, right? But I think it's Beal is the key. And if he continues to play hot like he is, I think they'll play hot along with him. So I think if you focus on him and kind of try to slow down Westbrook as much as you can, but really focus on Beal and Ben to say, you know what? Honestly, Ben, I don't care if you shoot a jump shot. Honestly, Ben, I don't care if you score only 10 points. If you focus and shut down Beal to a point where he is just any other player, that's good enough for me. That's all I need from you, Ben. That's all I need from you. Joel and Toby are going to get theirs, and Curry and Green hopefully are hitting their shots. That's all we need. That's all we need.
So that I agree with. One of the biggest concerns is our shooting consistency. It's been a problem throughout the year. If we're not hot from the three-point line, especially with Green and Curry, and you can have Furkan coming in and doing some crazy stuff. You can have Shake Milton come in and go off for some reason. There's been a nice balance, and I love our deep bench, but it's the consistency of those two main shooters that can really throw off the vibe of the team. But what would never throw off the vibe of the team is Ben just focusing on defense because of his. It's not a lack of contribution for him and scoring, but it's one of the big things that you need to focus on, because if he's going to expend his energy on defending someone like Bradley Beal, you're not going to expect much on the offensive end. So I'm fine with that, and that's why either Matisse or Ben, who aren't prolific scorers, are great for being a lockdown defender. Chris says a key to the Sixers' success will be having Seth or Tobias bringing up the ball instead of Ben, and I can agree to that to a certain point. Ben is a great facilitator, so it's tough to have Tobias or Seth be as productive as a facilitator as Ben. He's got great vision, but I can agree that either one of them would make a nice substitute if they're going to bring up the ball. But then again, sometimes a point guard can dribble the ball up to half court, crossover, and never touch the ball again. So That's one of the things with the NBA right now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think and obviously the first game always sets the tone. And I think again, if they play it out like we're proposing, I don't see an issue with Washington. I think again, Beal and Westbrook certainly could have their game. They'll go off for a game, and there's nothing you can do about it, even if you have all your shit together. And that's probably how they're going to lose a game during this season, during this series. But outside of that, I don't. I like you said, I think if they lose two, I'd be a little disappointed. So yeah, we both. I think we both said. I know I was kind of joking, but I think we both said Sixers in 5, 4-1, move on to face the winner of the Knicks and the Hawks. So we will see on Sunday. So we'll talk about it next week. Obviously, what the next game is, Tuesday or Wednesday? I thought I saw like a pretty decent gap. Definitely no, it was Wednesday. Because I would have thought that the next game would have been Tuesday, but they stretched it to Wednesday. So by the time we go on air, we'll have 2 games under our belt and hopefully 2 wins, and we can kind of break down the wins there and what went right and what went wrong and how they can improve and all that good stuff. So go Sixers, playoff time, baby! Get excited. Before we do get on out of here, I definitely want to talk a little Phils as Chris just let us know, they are losing 2-0. They are playing the
freaking Marlins,
or is it the Marlins still?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about the past game.
Losing always to the Marlins, and how we somehow can't figure out the Marlins, even though they're just not a great team, but they just have our number.
Yeah, always. Yes, they are playing the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
With the Marlins, they have an incredible pitching staff that I did not expect to perform the way they have, and it's been, remarkable to watch. Even though they get like 0 run support, these guys are throwing 97 and literally painting the outside of the strike zone. I mean, painting it with a fine brush. But it's incredible to see and watch. I loved the game on, I think it was Tuesday night, with Zach Wheeler pitching a gem.
Yeah.
And then he goes out. We're down 3-1, and then we just rally.
Oh yeah, that was
so much fun.
A great game. I'm glad. It's always good to see them get hits in bunches and get runs in bunches, because it's so far this year they have been very inconsistent offensively. But still, as much as you kind of hate to see those ups and downs, I'm glad that those ups are still there, because a lot of times, they'll get a hit here, a hit there, and they can't even bunch anything together for like a game or two. And they're only just winning games because of, hopefully our pitching and maybe, jacking one out of the park or two. So, it's good to have those nice high scoring innings there, and just hope that you can have more of them and spread it out a little bit throughout a game. So, and it doesn't help that everybody's injured now too.
Yeah, I mean, JT being out, Reis being in a bad spot. Yeah. So I appreciate you talking some Phillies. Just real quick, I know we're gonna get out of here just because of a tight schedule we have.
Tweet.
Very tight. But my trivia question was going to be the Billy Cunningham stat, but since it came up and since it was relevant at the time,
sorry, I effed that up.
But I will give you a trivia question. How many years did Cunningham play for the 76ers?
I have no idea. I'm going to say 11.
17.
See, what do I know? Holy crap!
Yep.
Really? Yeah. See,
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be the first to admit obviously I'm well aware of Billy Cunningham, but I was too young, and I didn't really see a lot on him growing up. So he kind of is like that. I am well aware of him, far off person. You know what I mean? Kind of like almost like Schmidt in a way. Like Schmidt is considered one of the greatest third basemen of all time. One of the greatest Phillies of all time. And unfortunately, I was just a kid when he was still playing, and sort of remember some stuff about Schmidt when I was real little, but again, it's kind of that removed person that I only really know from just watching old clips and looking up stuff. So I grew up with those early 90s Phillies, those awful early 90s Phillies. And that's kind of my memory starts there. So same thing with the Sixers, Barkley, the end of Barkley is kind of, what I remember as far as my earliest memories of really being into the Sixers. So,
just another quick opinion, quick thing to say. Charles Barkley's a clown, and I don't know why anybody would like him.
Okay. You have your weird Barkley hate. I apparently have my weird Will Smith hate, and that's what we do on the BroCast. We have weird hate. Hate. All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for us. Thank you very much for jumping in. Eric, good luck with your cross-country trip. Chris, appreciate it, brother. Next time, man, we should really just have you pop in. But don't forget to check out all of our shows on the Philly BroCast Network. We're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter at PhillyVerse4133, Instagram at Philly_verse. And you can check us out on Twitch. Appreciate the Twitch love coming in today. I believe we are Philly_verse on Twitch as well. But don't forget, we have a lineup of shows, 7 total shows in the Phillyverse Podcast Network. So we obviously have the Philly BroCast on Fridays. Monday is the Football Smack Talk Show with myself and Cross Country Drive and Eric. Tuesday, actually, we don't have anything right now. Wednesday, we have the Bald Eagle Podcast, who is such a great Philly Eagles show. And then Wednesday is also Mike Sports, which is an all-football show. Thursday is Tendies on Patterson, a Flyers show. And then at the TLC Podcast, wrestling show. In fact, I should probably put this up so everybody can follow along. And so that's Thursday. And then obviously, I already mentioned our show. So check us out. Take a listen. We're on YouTube as well, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the Twitches and everything else. So check us out. Support the show. Give it a like. Give it a follow. Give it a share. All that stuff. Whatever the social media tells you, you just boop, 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 hit them all. So. But that's it for us. Ryan, you got anything to add before we pop on out of here?
Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. Tune in next Friday because there's going to be a lot more to talk about with the Phillies and the Sixers. And we get some more Eagles going on.
We didn't even mention the Eagles, which is a rare for us.
Kerrigan. Or Josiah.
Yeah. Well, we'll break down Kerrigan and Kerryon Johnson next week. So, when
somebody says that Will Smith is not a Philadelphia icon, then it brings up like a 20-minute argument. So.
I didn't say that. All right. Well, on that note,
ridiculous.
We're going to get on out of here. I'm getting shellacked here. But thank you, everybody, for listening and supporting the show. We love doing it. We're doing it for you guys, all the Phillies fans, 444 sports fans. So appreciate the love and the support. Give it a like and share it on Facebook to all your friends. That really does help us out. But that's it for us. We're going to get on out of here. I got some food going and got to drink some beers, start up the weekend, right? So for the Philly BroCast, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ryan.
Yeah,
Peace,
yeah.
bros.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. And go Sixers.
Go Sixers, go Bears.
Go Birds.